Good morning, traders. Welcome to PrivateerFX. You're listening to the Asian preview and North American wrap. We discussed yesterday that Abe secured enough seats to keep his spot until 2021. We looked at the price action yesterday, and dollar yen gapped higher open about 25-30 pips. Went up as high as 114.10 in Asia, and the Nikkei closed the session up about 1%. And we also discussed how Kuroda will probably keep his job. So basically more stimulus out of Japan. As the North American session began, the dollar was fairly strong. You can see euro dollar, and we tweeted this, broke the 117.50 area and got down to as low as 117.35, and then was pretty much listless throughout the most of the session. Why don't we take a look at some of the hourly price action. So you see this break we got through here, got down to 35, rallied back up to 65, kind of a dead cat bounce, and then we finally late in the day around 2 o'clock New York, we test this 117.25 level and rallied back up again. So euro dollar isn't doing a whole lot. A couple interesting announcements that came out throughout the day. One was Trump announcing that he's very, very close to a decision on the next Fed chair. As we're now taking a look at the betting websites, Powell's in the lead by quite a lot, and let's just remember that Powell is a dove, and we would expect if he is announced, there'll be a knee-jerk lower of the dollar and a rally in stocks. Taylor and Yellen are kind of tied for second place. Taylor's a hawk. If he's announced as the next Fed chair, we'd be buying dollars aggressively and selling stocks. And Yellen, well, we know she's been hiking rates, has historically been dovish. It's more status quo. We don't think it'd be too exciting. And Warsh's chances are slipping, it seems, every day. So we are expecting something out of Trump in the next week, maybe sooner, whatever very, very soon means. So again, it was a very, very quiet day. One thing of interest, let's take a look at the 240 S&P chart. Remember, stocks did go up and make a new high, and S&P's made a new all-time high in Asia. And let's take a look at the North American session here, where we had this 12-hour period here. These are 240 bars, all red bars, and we had a nice little sell-off late in the day. NASDAQ, same type of thing, 12 hours of selling, closing near the lows of the day, led by the likes of Apple and some of the other FANG stocks. But again, this was all fairly late in the day. If we take a look at dollar yen on the hourly, dollar yen was very, very quiet most of the day. And we see here the gap opened yesterday in Asia, went up to 114.10, didn't do much for several hours, and then right toward the end of the day, about 3 o'clock, about an hour or so before the equity close, we saw it fill its gap. Not only did it fill its gap to the 113.50, but we went down to about 113.25 before a small bounce, and you can see we're back up at 113.48 now. So there were no real headlines that came out, nothing North Korea. Gold was fairly bid, and the U.S. bonds were bid, and pretty much out of nowhere around midday North America, and dollar yen finally caught up. It could have been the selling of euro yen. We did have a little break that we were looking at in the euro yen as well. So that more than filled its gap from the open during Asia, and it got down to 133.15 in late North America. So definitely a bit of risk off. Again, not 100% sure why. You can take a look at dollar MEX. Here's a dollar MEX daily. couple strong up bars. This is getting close to some big resistance areas, about 15 to 20 points higher up into this 1920 to 1930 zone. I think is a good place to sell it first time. Dollar turkey we talked about yesterday, gapping higher in Asia and closed strong near the highs of the day. Let's take a look at some of the most important charts that caught my attention today. Starting out with the S&P 500, made a new all-time high, as we talked about, and a fairly significant reversal lower. Not a key outside day, but a reversal lower day. We made a new high and we closed below the previous day's close. So that chart is definitely interesting, looking out for maybe some fall through and risk off. The other chart here, dollar yen, we discussed, made a new high up to 114.10 for this whole move and ended up closing lower on the day, filling that gap. More interesting are the euro yen chart. We had an outside reversal day lower after again gapping higher on the Abe election win, and yet closing below the previous day's close, or just on the previous day's low. So that chart is a bit concerning. Aussie yen, similar. Aussie traded heavy all day. There's very, very large bids at the 78 even level, and they were filled. I believe the low was 77.97. So this Aussie yen chart, again, a new high for the move and closed below the previous day's low, making that a key outside reversal day lower. You can see gold as well. Gold was somewhat heavy, down around 1274 on the North American Open. We did reverse a bit higher and closed up near the highs of the day at 1283.60 last. So I don't want to get excited, but when I see something like this, which I haven't seen in ages in the S&P, get back to this 240 chart. Bear with me. This 240 chart. We haven't seen too many of these 12 hours worth of red bars. We saw one here on October 19th, but if you take a look back, just even on this chart alone, you just don't see too many patterns where you're getting 3 red bars in a row. And this last 4 hour of the North American trading session was definitely some risk off and some more aggressive selling of equities. So I'm on high alert. We've always been, we've been talking about this for ages, about when are the S&Ps and when are the NASDAQ, when are global equities going to put in some sort of top. It's charts like this daily chart that gets my attention, having come from a new all-time high. So, the Abe euphoria has worn off after only 24 hours. Overall, it was a quiet North American session. We do have some Japan PMI coming out. We also have European and U.S. market PMIs coming out on Tuesday. We're waiting to hear more from Trump on tax reform and his pick for the next Fed chair. And we do have some central bank meetings that we will go into further tomorrow and Wednesday before the Bank of Canada and the ECB meeting that's on Thursday. Good luck today, and look out for us on the European Open. Have a good day.